Every second of every minute, every hour of every day, time keeps passing us by. Moments are slipping by us like sands in the hourglass, and unless we try and film a few of them, we wouldn't have videos like these. Thanks to the good people behind the camera, some of the weirdest, most wonderful stuff we've ever seen has been captured on film. And now it's out there for the world to experience in all its shockingly unbelievable glory. Don't say we didn't warn you. If these 15 moments weren't caught on camera, no one would believe it. Helicopter refills water bucket from public swimming pool. Alright, here's something that you certainly don't see every day, and while this eye-opening scene might seem like something straight out of a Grand Theft Auto, there's actually an incredible story behind these high-flying aerial heroics. When you think about it, helicopters are pretty weird machines, right? And if you've ever been in the position to have flown one, either in real life or in the previously mentioned video game franchise, you'll understand that piloting these rotary vehicles is not an easy feat. Seriously, how the heck do helicopters even work? So then when a daring helicopter pilot somehow managed to descend from the skies and hover over a swimming pool in Portugal, and then somehow fill up a bucket of water, witnesses were left with their jaws on the floor at this insane piloting skill. Incredibly, the dramatic moment occurred back in 2013 when the brave pilot of a firefighting helicopter was forced to commandeer local water supplies in order to combat a growing woodland blaze in Portugal. With the wildlife creeping even closer to a nearby residential zone, and with no lake or river nearby, the pilot was forced to use a small swimming pool at a nearby home to collect water. Although the pilot's rotary blades almost narrowly missed the wall, the heroic feat was pulled off without a hitch, and the helicopter swiftly rushed onward to tackle the blaze. Good job no one was relaxing poolside with a pina colada, right? Fasten your seatbelts, because it's time for today's sweet topic. This rancher can't explain what this trail camera just captured next to his cattle, but it's giving us The Last of Us vibes, the video game turned television series. The fungal brain infection featured in the fictional franchise is actually based on a real-life fungal infection that turns ants into little zombies. And whatever has infected this tall, mutated creature sneaking up on a person in the forefront of this image, you can see the transformation is just as dramatic. In the game/TV show, the fungus spread through a bite from an infected individual, infects a living individual, and sometimes appears within a couple of days, and then stage 2 will bring aggressive and unexplainable behavior as the fungus takes hold of the brain. It begins taking over the body till it's too late. This transformation is based on the all-too-real zombie fungus found in Brazil. When the fungus, called Ophiocordyceps, infects an ant, it grows through the insect's body and hijacks its mind. Eventually, the fungus grows through the ant's head, growing into a bulbous capsule full of spores, zombifying other ants in the colony. So, as The Last of Us suggests, a similar fungus could hypothetically infect living creatures besides ants. Could humans be next? Is this image a snapshot of our future? Comment below using hashtag #SweetTopic. World's best magic tricks. Okay, not everyone will agree, but there's nothing quite like being fooled by a magic trick, right? While we're all relatively upset that Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry never sent us an invitation on our 11th birthday, we know deep down that true magic is all part of the show. Sure, while there are some terrible magicians out there in the world bending spoons and pulling the wrong rabbits out of hats, the vast majority of these sleight-of-hand tricksters have plied their trade with some astonishing results. From David Blaine to Chris Angel, the world's best magic tricks are often resigned for some of the biggest names in the magic world. But back in 2018, an emerging magician from China managed to astound the entire planet with his never-before-seen close-up magic trick. Eric Chine, who was attending the FISM World Championships of Magic, entered the Best Trick category with his mind-boggling ribbon performance, which features him somehow managing to make objects vanish and reappear into thin air with nothing but a thin ribbon and a deck of cards. Not only that, but Eric somehow manages to change the color of his vest mid-performance as well. And despite watching this video over and over again, we have no idea how this sorcerer did it. Witchcraft and wizardry? Yeah, probably. most creative cover of Pink Floyd ever made. For most of us, Pink Floyd's rock and roll classic, Another Brick in the Wall, is the ideal musical moment to shout out all those teachers that were particularly mean to us when we were growing up. But for one superfan, it was the perfect opportunity for him to invent his very own language. Yeah, while the Pink Floyd prog rockers were the unrivaled pioneers of a brave new world of music back in the 1970s, even they weren't creative enough to decipher their own linguistic key. Well, back in 2017, a Portuguese musician went viral after his artistic recreation of the rock and roll classic was captured on video by a baffled audience member. Despite not speaking fluent English and despite not fully grasping the lyrics of the song, he threw caution to the wind and decided to interpret the lyrics with his own brand of English, reproducing the lyrical sounds of the song into a version that he understands. Amazingly, it worked, and after the video made the rounds across the internet, several of the Pink Floyd band members gave this version the seal of approval. They claimed that Another Brick in the Wall was so good that you didn't even need to know the lyrics. Hey, is that a humble brag? Either way, it works. The angriest siblings ever filmed. For this next entry, it seems that even canines are no strangers to stereotypical sibling rivalry. Feast your eyes on this hilarious video where two dogs just won't let their disagreements lie and instead compete in one of the funniest barking matches we've ever seen. These two sassy corgis, a male and a female, were filmed fighting inside their house in Beijing, China. And although there's no wider context as to who, why, or what the heck led up to this tense tirade, the results are certainly worthwhile. To begin, one of the feisty pups twists on the floor to start the barking match, while the other stands their ground on top of the sofa. The pooch on the floor kicks off the argument with such a powerful yap that it nearly slides off its paws across the apartment. Then, as the second canine realizes the frantic fight is afoot, the pair engage in an almost perfectly synchronized back and forth. I'm not entirely sure if these guys actually choreographed this stage fight, but you have to admit, it's pretty incredible how perfectly in sync they are, right? Thankfully, it only takes a few moments for the duo to realize that they're perfectly matched, and they quickly separate and call off the duel. Ever wondered what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object? Yeah, this is probably it. Trail guide halts charging elephant. Alright, while we're talking about stopping animals in their tracks, two tiny corgi dogs may be one thing, but how about a gigantic charging elephant? Yeah, that's just a different league, and it ain't even the same sport. Well, thankfully, someone was around with a camera to capture this incredible moment, one of the only of its kind ever to be caught in the wild. If you dare, take a peek at this heart-stopping moment when a trail guide from Kruger National Park in South Africa somehow managed to stop a charging elephant dead in its tracks by standing incredibly still. While you may think that this is the perfect opportune moment to turn tail and run, astonishingly, trail guide Alan McSmith calmly stood up to the elephant in a moment of true grit, perfectly demonstrating how a calming energy can influence the behavior of wild animals. Not only that, but this truly remarkable footage is testament to an elephant's intricate intelligence and complex behavior, and perfectly shows how humans and animals are able to connect despite initially being in a stressful situation. Now, we're pretty sure that any other person would have crumbled under such pressure, but the trail guide faces the huge elephant without batting an eyelid, forcing the elephant to retreat in an intense standoff. Pretty amazing. Dog loves being at the vet. Feast your eyes on this surprising happy guy, who had to be taken to the Colorado State University Veterinary Teaching Hospital after getting a foxtail plant lodged deep into his ear. In what would usually be a stressful and uncomfortable situation for the canine, the video remarkably shows Endo being just as ecstatic as ever, and it seems that the pooch was actually so excited to receive medical treatment that he literally jumps for joy through the waiting room. Incredibly, Endo shows such excitement that he even manages to bounce above the receptionist's counter, causing her to break out in laughter at the joyful display. Also, it seems that Endo isn't fit to quit either, as he manages a total of 45 jumps in a row while waiting for his owner to fill in the paperwork. Who knew that the vets could be so exciting, right? Well, it seems that Endo continues to bounce his way through life, as his owners have reported that he regularly gets as excited as he did in this video, particularly when it snows. Dogs, right? What did we do to deserve them? Bear waving. It seems that animals being caught in unusual situations is the hot topic of the moment, because while we've seen our fair share of charging elephants and dueling dogs, who would have ever expected that a gigantic Kodiak bear waving goodbye to his friend would have become one of the most controversial hits on the internet? Take a look at this truly remarkable video captured by a photographer who decided to bid farewell to this large furry friend
Hello, hi.
by waving as he left the Olympic National Park in Washington State. While the photographer bid him adieu, to his complete and utter surprise, the Kodiak bear decided to wave back, and in the process, he won the hearts and minds of the internet. Standing just 10 feet away from the extraordinary animal, the pair were separated only by a small wire fence, and the photographer reported that the animal didn't seem threatening at all. However, it seems that the Olympic Game Farm, where the bear and many others are kept, had become a hotbed for controversy, further fueled by the multitude of viral videos that had emerged from the park. While there are around 19 of these bears kept in the Washington Reserve, which is just a 2-hour drive from Seattle, they've become so used to interacting with humans that waving like a person has become second nature to them. Some have deemed it cruel, while others have supported the lazy lifestyle of these creatures as a tourist attraction. What do you guys think? Frozen bubbles. Okay, let's take a look at a more light-hearted moment of water-based whimsy. Blowing bubbles is a pastime that's delighted the hearts and minds of children and adults for centuries. The ingredients are simple: dish soap, laughter, and some good old-fashioned fun. However, back in winter 2019, the internet was aloft with a new kind of bubble-based trend, the frozen kind. Take a look at this awesome video posted by a TikTok user, which captured the moment that he and a few friends decided to blow some bubbles during a particularly cold day, only to discover that bubbles act pretty strange when it's cold out. Incredibly, as the regular bubbles danced through the air, it appeared to create a frozen, snowflake-like pattern on the surface of the bubble, which then rapidly spread across the bubble before freezing it completely. If you live in a place that gets pretty cold winters, then you yourself can have a go at this neat trick. Just blow the bubbles like regular, and below the glossy surface, you'll witness complex ice crystals appear. Allegedly, the best ingredients for the job are a combination of corn syrup, warm water, dish soap, and sugar. The elephants of Muway Lodge. Here's something you certainly don't see every day: a horde of huge elephants checking themselves into a hotel. Okay, maybe not quite, because these guys aren't checking in, they actually live there. Take a look at this incredible location where the Muway Lodge in the South Lingua National Park of Zambia shares its premises with over 10 elephants who call it their home. Amazingly, these astonishing animals strolling throughout the hotel lobby is a regular occurrence, and although it was originally deemed a dire accident for the surrounding wildlife, it's since become a win-win situation for everyone involved. You see, the hotel, which was founded back in 1998, was unwittingly built on the elephant's traditional migration path, with the Muway Lodge standing directly en route to the herd's favorite food, wild mangoes. Incredibly, every year between late October and mid-December, the elephants arrive at the lodge in their droves, and the whole family of elephants come to eat the wild mangoes that can be found dotted throughout the hotel's grounds, with many wild mango trees being found right outside its doors. The animals are so comfortable with the hotel's existence that they'll even take a shortcut through reception. Why walk around when you can stroll through the lobby? Amazing. Boy who harnessed the wind. Okay, from ingenious hotels to a tale of ingenuity, determination, and creative force in the face of adversity. The story of William Kamkwamba, also known as the boy who harnessed the wind, is a remarkable tale of one young man who saved his town from famine by building windmills that would provide and produce water and electricity, which was captured in a series of astonishing videos back in 2001. William, the young inventor from Malawi, rose to fame when he built this incredible wind turbine machine to power multiple electrical appliances in his family's home, using resources harvested from blue gum trees, disused bicycles, and assorted material collected from a local scrapyard. Incredibly, William learned the fundamentals after reading a book called Using Energy, and his astonishing feat of ingenuity caught international news after his technology began to be utilized across his entire village. Now, age 33, William is a world-renowned inventor and author, and his tale of intellect and ingenuity has been picked up by Netflix with the drama The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind, which outlines his truly remarkable story. Baby does what millions can't. In the lofty heights of the meme universe, achieving a no-look water bottle flip and capturing the moment on camera is a task that not everyone is cut out for. For some internet pioneers, flipping a water bottle thousands of times in the hope that it'll perfectly land bottoms up has been a lifelong endeavor. But for this tiny toddler, it seemed that beginner's luck may have played its part. Either that or this kid is some kind of bottle flipping prodigy. Take a look at this adorable footage, which shows a baby achieving an impossible feat that millions of others can't. And although the task is impressive enough, it's her adorable reaction that's captured the internet's heart. Although the world may seem like a complicated and overwhelming place, us humans constantly questioning the meaning of our existence right here in the swirling cosmic soup of the universe, sometimes all it takes to crack a smile is a moment like this. If things have gotten you down, why don't you try a no-look water bottle flip? At least it's worth a try, right? Royal Guard laughs. When it comes to enjoying the infinite humor of life, the Royal Guards of Buckingham Palace aren't exactly known for their propensity to crack a smile. In fact, in some bizarre swirl of monarchy and tradition, the world-famous Queen's Guard are renowned for their steely-faced ability to remain unfazed in front of the public. And while many have tried and failed in tempting the guardsmen to break from their stern facade, it seems that one guy had the perfect trump card to foil them. You see, it's pretty easy to ignore a random member of the public, but what if you went to school with one of them? Take a look at this hilarious video where a group of young men politely approach one of the Queen's Guards before revealing that they were classmates together. Through a hilarious tirade of questioning and what the guard can only answer with a nod or a shake of his head, it all becomes too much and the Queen's Guard cracks a comedic smile. Hopefully he didn't get into too much trouble from the Royal Guard. Send him to the tower? Give him a break. He's had a long day. The terrifying thing is, this kind of stuff would have probably resulted in the two men paying a one-way trip to the Tower of London. Talk about workplace pressure, right? Blind dog gets guide dog. While we've seen many heartwarming tales throughout this unbelievable list, few of them can compare to the overwhelming emotion captured in this story of two unbelievable canines. While thousands of blind people rely on guide dogs to help them lead a vibrant, active life, have you ever heard of a blind dog having their very own seeing eye dog? Well, meet Tao, a 10-year-old golden retriever from Somerset, England, who lost both of his eyes to glaucoma earlier this year. Tao's owner had noticed that her beloved pet had been in a lot of pain, and after being diagnosed with the disease, Tao required emergency surgery to remove both of her eyes. After a series of intense retraining to allow Tao to lead a normal life, he quickly got used to being blind, but it appeared he'd need more help than his humans could manage. Well, enter Oko, the golden retriever puppy who has been brought in to act as Tao's very own seeing eye dog. Incredibly, their partnership has quickly changed both of their lives forever, and thanks to Oko, Tao can live a safe and comfortable life, free to explore the world with his new best friend by his side. Incredible. Dunlap dam wall collapses. Ever wondered what would happen if a dam collapsed? Well, look no further, because after this 91-year-old dam in Texas collapsed, a security camera managed to capture the astonishing footage as its waters drained in a matter of minutes, causing the depth of the nearby Lake Dunlap to plunge more than 7 feet in the process. As you may imagine, the 91-year-old dam had seen its fair share of wear and tear throughout the decades, but the authorities had no idea that it was this close to bursting until it was all too late. Although the exact cause of the breach is still to be determined, it's believed that aging steel was the main culprit in the event, and thankfully no one was hurt. Still, it demonstrates the alarming power kept behind these municipal structures, and when the dams break, the consequences can often be devastating. The humblest president. And finally, here's something you don't see every day, a former world leader living a humble and modest life in the countryside. While it's a common grumble that politicians' lifestyles are often far removed from the people that they represent, it seems that in Uruguay, former President Jose Mujica is trying to change that fact. Dubbed the world's poorest former president, Mujica lives on a ramshackle farm in a rural region of his native Uruguay, working the yard and farming the land, instead of living a lavish lifestyle of luxury. You see, he's shunned the luxurious house that the Uruguayan state would usually provide for its leaders and former leaders, instead opting to stay at his wife's farmhouse outside the capital of Montevideo. After resigning from politics back in 2018, Mujica also refused a pension from his time as leader, a position which he'd held since 2014. While he may not be to everyone's taste, it's certainly something that you don't see every day. Well, there we have it, 15 unbelievable moments caught on camera.